Good morning, guys. MWUSA Season 3, Episode 249. It is Sunday after Thanksgiving, and I am not going to be traveling today. We do have some family stuff going on, parties and things like that, so in the interest of being with the family and not getting my butt kicked, I will be staying home. However, it's still early, and I do have a little bit of free play that I need to pick up, so I'm going to go do that now. Today it is 25 degrees outside, clear skies, very cold, light breeze, so not terrible, but cold outside, and my furnace has been having some trouble keeping up already, and I've about had it with that thing. It's pretty new, and I sent a text message to the guy who installed it and said basically we need to get this thing fixed. I don't want to go through another cold winter having issues with the heat, so that's going to happen. I have been working on some miscellaneous things behind the scenes as far as the new credit card that I have. I bought a lot of gift cards. We did our Christmas shopping yesterday with it, and just taking care of a lot of things with it. So hopefully I can get that $20,000 in spend taken care of. I've also cashed a couple checks from credit cards. I've got one coming for about $500, and I have was it $500 that's coming? I'm not really sure how much it is, but I did just cash one for $400 and something. And there's going to be some more on the way soon. So that's all good. I'm going to try to dip my toe into some other Advantage Play stuff that I've never talked about, and we'll see what happens. If I start making money, maybe I'll do it more. But as of right now, I'm just learning, and luckily I have a nice network of people that they've maybe learned some things from me, but I've definitely learned from them, and I appreciate that, and I let them know that. I'm very thankful that they're around, and that's why I always say I'm here. If you have questions, feel free to ask. If you want to do some networking, feel free to ask. I may not meet a lot of people from the podcast, just because you never know who's really listening, but I do like to get to know people, and never had any issues with anyone so far. So with all that being said, I'm heading out to one casino right now, and we're going to see what we can get done. Oh, let me just tell you something else that happened. So yesterday I get a message from a guy who is not an Advantage player, who thinks he's an Advantage player, who calls himself an Advantage player, and he wanted to borrow some money. He said that he was out of money and his wife wouldn't give him any more, and she's happy because she knows that when he runs out of money, he'll be home for a few days until he can start making some money again and then go waste it at the casino again. By the way, can I borrow some money? I'm like, well, with your stellar track record of borrowing money from everyone and never returning it, heck no, you can't borrow any money. So he was a little disappointed. Well, I wake up this morning, and he sends me a message early, like 7 o'clock this morning, and he says, I've got this Advantage Play that nobody else knows about, and I'm going to make some money on it. I just need to borrow $2,000 or $3,000, and if it works, I'll even give you extra on top of that. If it doesn't work, I promise I'll have you paid by the end of the month. It's December 1st. You're going to have me... Okay, so let me figure this out here. So if it works, I'll break even. If it works and you make some money, which you probably wouldn't tell me, then I might get something. And if it doesn't work, I wait a month to maybe break even. No thank you. So I said no, and he's like, man, you're going to regret it, man. Seriously, I got this play, nobody knows about it. I watch all the Advantage players walk by it, and then once they're gone, I sit down and I play it. I'm like, well, where's your money then? If you're such a good Advantage player, why do you need me? You need $0. to start off, to be an advantage player, and I've demonstrated it before, where there was a day where I found less than $1 in a machine, and that made me like $20, and then it carried me through the day. I don't remember exactly, but you don't need much. $500 will get you through as an advantage player in some situations, but you always have zero, so why would I trust you with my money? So anyway, that happened this morning. I said, well, what game is it? Oh, if I tell you, you're going to tell everyone. Like, okay, whatever. He doesn't even know I have a podcast, and he thinks I'm going to call everyone and say, this very intelligent guy who has no money told me about this game. Let's all go take it away from him. Whatever. Anyway, letting you go for now, on my way to the casino, and I'll be back to update you. Alright, guys. I am back, just leaving this casino, and when I walked in, first two machines I saw were marked, and then I looked over and I saw another AP that I didn't know, but I knew him right away that it was an AP. So I knew not only did someone else mark it, but not this guy, but this guy was in there, and at least two other guys I saw in there, and it's morning on a Sunday, so the odds of finding something were going to be small. I did find a couple small plays, and I was ahead like $100 or so, and then just looked and didn't find anything, and then found a play that was slightly positive. It was a little over $3 a spin, and I played that one, and that took my profit plus a couple hundred more, and then I put a couple hundred more in, and finally, by the time it paid out, I was ahead a total of $246. So plus 246, I saw very few people playing in there. The machines were dead. There just wasn't a lot of opportunity in there. So what are you gonna do? There are a few new machines in there, but nothing worth anything really. So it's just I can't say it was a wasted trip because I made some money, but not a great trip. So at this point, I've got a couple small errands to run. I'm going to head to the hardware store, pick up some anchors for the wall to hang stuff up, and I was painting the kitchen. I'm almost done painting. It's hard to do when you have a big kitchen and it's full of stuff, and you have to keep moving stuff and working around stuff and up ladders and back down and all these different things. So I had to get some anchors to put things back up on the wall because the way that they were put up before was just through drywall, which is not going to be good enough. And then gonna stop by the grocery store also, pick up some flowers to take home as well. So that's what I'll be doing right now. So that's what's going on right now. I'm going to let you go, and I don't know, this will probably be part of Monday unless I get out to gamble somehow tonight, which I think is not going to happen probably, but I will let you know. All right, guys, I am back, and it is still Sunday, and we had a get-together at our house, and normally I would leave at like 2 or 3 in the afternoon if I was going to play on a Sunday, and of course it's dark already. Right now it's 7 p.m., so there's no chance of that happening. But I decided I'm going to go ahead and play. I'm going to do a extremely abbreviated route. I'm only going to do like, I don't know, probably like 250 to 300 miles. So I'll only be able to hit like 3 spots tonight. But at least I'll be able to make some kind of money tonight. So I am leaving right now. The goal is going to be just to make like $500 or $600, just to make something so that we're moving forward. It's the 1st of December, and I've already made a few $100s, but I'd hate to lose this whole day, so we're going to try to make some money. My goal is to hit 3 casinos, and we're going to start right now. The first casino is going to be a slots-only casino, and we'll see what happens. Hopefully, it's not too busy there, because if it's not busy, I have more of a chance of making money. Some people shoot for the busiest times, and then they're fighting with other advantage players trying to get on slot machines. I do the opposite. I like it when it's quiet, when other advantage players don't want to be there, and then I swoop in and hopefully pick up some cash. So right now, heading off to the first casino, and I'll be back to update you soon. All right, guys, I am back, and just leaving this place now. And things didn't go very well here. When I first walked in, I found a play right away. I was ahead like $9 right away. Went and played a couple other things. Not much happening. Lost 100 and something on a play, and that got me into a sour mood because I should have never played it in the first place. It was there, but not the game that I like. And then moved on. Found a couple really good plays. Someone wasn't getting off those machines. And then the kicker was I was checking a machine, and the girl to my left hits the grand jackpot for $28,000. And she doesn't even understand what's going on or how much she won or anything. And she's trying to call her friends, and no one's answering the phone. And and then, photo op and this and that. So finally I ended up playing a few more games. One of them got me to within striking range. I think I was down about $45. I was down at my worst. I was down, I'm thinking 440, 450, somewhere in there, and got all the way back to even and ended up leaving the session ahead $38, but $38 for an hour, not that great in the cold, 25 degrees outside, not exactly a fun time. And then of course I was happy for the person who won the $28,000, but of course a piece of you is like, oh, I wish it was me, right? So so just leaving that place now. And then interestingly, I saw the guy that had called me this morning with this great play, and he called me a few times, and I looked over, I finally saw him. I went over and talked to him, and he was down to his last $9, and I think he had his sister maybe with him, and he was showing her around, explaining how games worked and stuff, even though the game that he was playing was not a beatable game. So there you go. That's how some people are. Anyway, at this point, we're moving on to another casino. We're running low on gas. We got about 28 miles range. So we're going to try to get somewhere and hopefully find a decent price, get some gas, and continue on our journey. Not a great start, but whatever. At least we're starting to make some money again, and hopefully the next stop will be a lot better. So I'll be back to update you after my next stop. Alright guys, as I'm getting back to my car, that was really boring. I actually played one machine for about 700 spins, so that one was okay. But overall, not much happening in there, and really not much money to be made. Saw 5 or 6 people checking machines, including some pain in the butt people that I know. But really, no real money to be made. I was in there for probably 45 minutes and ended my session up $84. And I've got a decision to make at this point. Do I continue on the path that I had laid out? I actually got to figure this out right now, because I got about 2 minutes before I have to change directions one way or another. Or do I add another spot? If I add another spot, it'll actually add 2 spots, because I'll be going that direction to hit that spot. Then I'll have to come by this place again to continue my trip. Is it worth it? Am I too tired? It's about midnight right now. I'm really not sure. Or the other choice, stop and get some food and then come back to this place. Just go like 2 miles down the street, get some food, and then come back to this place. And I still don't know. I kind of feel like I should go try to make some money, but at the same time, I'm not positive. So, other thing is, my tire pressure light came on, and I checked in the parking lot there. Nothing seemed to be low, so it might just have to do with the temperature being 23 degrees outside. Is this place open? Nah, probably not. No, everyone's so lazy these days. Yeah, good luck finding a place to eat that's not a casino right now, too. So, let's see, 1 o'clock, 2, 3. Should I just get home and get some sleep? Alright, I'll be back. Alright guys, I am back. So, I decided to go ahead and add another casino. And I got within 5 miles of the casino. And the highway was closed. So, of course, went off the highway, tried to get back on, and that exit was closed. And you could see cars backed up like crazy down there. So definitely some kind of big accident down there. Roads are all closed. And now I'm taking back roads to get to the casino. So it's adding a lot of time. And now I see more traffic on my map, of course, because everyone is forced to go this direction. But on the positive side here, we are going to play 2 extra sessions. So instead of 3 stops tonight, we're going to do 5 stops tonight, and hopefully we find some plays, hopefully we make some money, and hopefully I get there sometime soon. But everything, I think I'm not even going to try to get on the highway. I'm going to stay off the highway. Just take a little bit of a longer path here, but if it's closed, it's closed, and Google Maps doesn't seem to be updated, so we'll take the back roads all the way, and then I'll come back and give you an update, and hopefully it'll be good news for you. I'll be back. Alright guys, I'm back, as I am going to my car, just leaving this casino, and I had forgotten the last time I was here this late at night, that built between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m., they ID everybody. And not only do they ID, but they scan the ID. And so, on my way in, for half a second, I just thought, maybe I shouldn't. But then I'm like, what the heck, I'm going to do it. Give them over the ID. And the only thing I'm thinking about in my head is what happened a couple weeks ago, and what if they're linked up with that place or that area. And I thought it might be a possibility. So on my way out, I made it a point to stop by the security guy at the door and ask him some questions. And why not? You know, inquiring minds want to know. You're probably all too young to know what that means, but you know, why not find out? I'm going to ask the question. So I walk up to the guy, and on my way out, I made some, noise like, something like that as I'm walking out. And he turns around, and I said, "Have a good night, man." And he says, "You too." And I said, "Can I ask you a question?" And he's like, "Yeah, what's up?" And I said, "Just wondering, how come you scanned my ID when I came in, when it's obvious that I'm older than 21? And he said, "Oh man, between 11 p.m. and 7 a.m., we have to ID everybody." And I said, "Why is that? You guys been having trouble?" And he's like, "Yeah, we have some trouble at night, so we scan everybody just to be safe." I said, "So how come you got to take a picture of it?" Because they put it on like a clear piece of glass, and obviously they scan it. And he's like, "Oh, that's just so that our surveillance is able to check and see if you're on our list of people who's not supposed to be in here. Could be like if you decided that you didn't want to be in the casino for a year and you banned yourself temporarily or something like that, then it would pick it up." I said, "Oh, yeah. So like the people who lose a lot of money, if they decided to ban themselves then you would know. He's like, yeah, we would know if you're a banned person right away, and then surveillance would call me right away and let me know not to let you in. I thought that was very good to know, because it's not checking with other systems, according to what this guy is saying. It's checking their database. And their database actually links up, I think, with a couple other casinos in the area. So I thought that was kind of good to have that information. So I walk in and I looked at a couple slots. I don't find anything. And actually on my way out, I saw people checking, which is rare here because the machines aren't as good as they used to be. And there's a lot of people checking them. So the fact that someone was still checking them this time of night, I thought would be unusual. Just because there isn't a lot of traffic. The parking lot was pretty dead, actually. And this is one of the places that is usually pretty busy. So for it to be this quiet, I thought was unusual. So anyway, so I walk into the blackjack area. And remember, everything I'm going to tell you here, this all happened before I talked to the security guard, right? So I'm not really sure about what's going on. When I walk in, I give them over my ID. And I don't know for a fact if it's going to take some time for them to check it out or what the deal is. So I go into the high limit blackjack area, and there are 3 blackjack tables open: a bad double deck, a $50 table which is full, and another table which is empty. So I sit down at the other table, and I'm just coming up on the accident that was going on that slowed me down on my path here. And I see only one car, and it's smashed up pretty good. It looks like the highway is still closed before this accident here. But anyway, I buy in for $500, and you know, I've got money ready to go, but I've had a shaky relationship here lately. So I bought in with 4 $100 bills and 5 20s just to make it look like I don't have a lot of money on me. So they give me $500, and I recognize the dealer from like years ago, and she says, you have a player's card? And I said no. She goes, are you sure? I could have, I thought for sure that I recognized you from years ago when we were a different casino, that you had a card with us then. I said, no, I'd never visited this casino when it was that, which is true. I had never been to this casino. I had no reason to. I wasn't counting cards at that point, and it was far away from home and no reason for me to come here. So she said, okay. So we start playing, and first hand I get a pair of 9s against the bust card. I guess the 2 actually, and I split them. I get a 19 on the first one, and I get a 14 on the second one. I stay. Dealer ends up with a 19. So I push 1, I lose 1, and I don't win another hand until I'm down to my last bet. I was like getting ready to rebuy, and I hadn't won a hand. I pushed one other hand, and other than that, it was all losers. And a couple guys came to the table, and it's no mid-shoe entry, so they were going to wait it out. And then when the other table opened up, after watching me lose every hand, they ended up switching tables. But I was down to my last bet of the 500 a couple times, and I won the bet every time. And
there's a stalled vehicle ahead.
The issue was strange things were happening. So, not that I'm seeing ghosts or anything, but number 1, the dealer asking me. Number 2, the dealer that dealt to me was actually a pit boss that was dealing because they were short-handed. So that's another bad thing. Now I'm spreading, and it's a pit boss. The third thing is a guy comes over with a handheld radio, and he walks in, he walks by me, he waves to the pit boss behind the dealer, walks back behind me again, and leaves. And my pit boss looks at him like, what are you doing here? So I'm like, huh. something to do with my ID, and they're on to me, you know, whatever. Anyway, I end up ahead $350 at the end of that shoe, and I decide it's probably not the best thing for me to stick around. But I stayed in the casino. I looked at some slots without actually handling them too much, and I waited around. Nobody came around, so I'm not really positive. I kind of feel like with what the security guard told me, that everything is okay, but I'm not positive. So I don't know if you can tell. I'm a little stuffed up today. I don't know if it's just a cold or what, but hopefully I'm not sick. But right now we're going to move on to the casino we came here from. We're going to try to hit that casino again, and we'll see what happens with that. So I'm going to continue on, head back to that casino, and I'll be back to update you. Well, I'll tell you one thing. I'm probably not going to get any sleep tonight, so that's all right, though. We're moving on here. So I just left the next casino, and on my way here, I was looking for something to eat, and there was a Wendy's that was open until 1 a.m. So I ordered, and I went there, and I go through the drive-thru, and they say that they're closed. So luckily, Wendy's makes it easy to cancel your order, so I canceled the order, and there was a Taco Bell nearby. Now, I don't really eat Taco Bell because it's really not very good. In fact, it's pretty awful usually. So I thought I would order something that is going to be easy for them to make, and I know what's in it. So I ordered a steak burrito, and they had no idea what that was. And we had to go back and forth, and it was a supreme this steak something. And so, okay, I did that. It was about $7 or so, and I got it, and it was the sloppiest, nastiest mess. They ought to be ashamed of themselves. I should have taken a picture of that and sent it to their corporate and see it. It's so ridiculous. Anyway, I carefully ate that on my way to the next casino, and got there alive, no intestinal pain or anything like that, and went into the casino, and just couldn't get anything going. I think at my best I was down about $6, and I was down as much as $4.70. I was probably in there for almost an hour, played a lot of different things, all small plays, all small time. And I'll tell you that there was two groups of people in there. There were three groups of people in there. There were the group that looked like they were all drugged out and just laying around. There was an Asian group in there that was playing high limit, whatever that's called. The one where if you get the 6 numbers, you get respins and stuff. They were playing that like crazy. And then there were a group of Mexicans, which I've never seen at this casino, and they were playing the same game, whatever that's called. And the Mexicans were playing it pretty high limit, $12.50 a spin and $25 a spin. So I'm glad everybody's doing well. Anyway, I ended my session down $119. And even with all that, I think I'm still up about $600 for the day overall. And we're heading off to another casino, 3:30 a.m. So should get to the next casino by 4 and get home by 6:30 or so, and then get to work by 8 something. So I should be all right. I got to make sure I plug in my laptop when I get home, and we'll see what tomorrow brings. So that's where we are right now. I'll be back. All right, guys, just getting in my car. That was bonkers. Bonkers, I tell you. My gosh, that was just ridiculous. It was my fault, really. When I first walked in, I mean, this place is pretty quiet right now. There's maybe, looking around, 30 cars in the parking lot, maybe 40 cars in the parking lot. And it's a pretty big place. It's not like a little shack. It's a nice sized casino, not a lot of people here. And I walk up and I take a look, and there's a machine in position right away, and I kind of jumped to conclusions a little bit too fast on it. There are two variations of this machine, and I did the calculation on the wrong one, and by the time I figured it out, at $4 a spin, I was already in about $300, and at that point, it was a play. So at that point, I had to go on, and that one really hurt me a lot. By the time that was over, I was involved with that machine for $700, and I cashed out $231 on that machine. So I was down $469 just on that machine, and that was a beating I really didn't want to take. And I was feeling kind of low because I made a mistake on that, and that's a lot of money. And what's worse is there were so many other plays, and I would have played those no matter what, and they all did well, and I didn't have to waste my money on that one. And I still beating myself up on it. And I mean, it's something that I could have avoided if I had just thought about it for 30 more seconds. But by the time I noticed it, I had already started playing, and it didn't make sense to stop anymore. So I feel really bad about that, but that was minus $469 on that machine. I moved on, and I noticed that there was this slot attendant was always hanging around, and as it turned out, I talked to her later on, and she's just lazy, and she's trying to walk away from people. And I'm walking around checking stuff, and she's walking away from people, and I'm kind of going to the same place as she is. There was at least one or two machines that I skipped because she was standing there, and normally they're not anything big anyway. So, but when you hear what happens later on, you'll think, I wonder if maybe those could have been something today. So I kept looking around, and I got to the machine that I like more than any other machine at this place, because I just clean up on this machine. It's a complicated one, and I do very well on it. So I go to that one, and I find plays at like 5 different levels on this machine. And by the time I play all those through, I had a lot of big hits on them, considering the bet sizes. I think the biggest bet size was $3. The smallest bet size was under $1, just to give you an idea. There's like 5 different plays between these two machines that are next to each other. And by the time I finished all those plays, between that machine, those two machines, and the first machine, I was down only $91. So I'm like, well, I'm kind of resigning myself to the fact that I'm going to go home down $91. And I was okay with it at that point because of how bad the first one played. So I continued on. That's where I ran into that slot attendant and talked to her for a second, and then I went to the back corner, nothing. Came back around to the front, nothing. There's one more little corner that nobody ever checks. I went over there, and there's 2 machines to check. One of them was already marked, so I knew no one had played it since someone had checked it. And I'm like, well, this other one probably is nothing, but I'll take a look. And the machine was, I'm trying to, you know what? Let me look at the picture to see what the bet size was. The bet was actually a tiny bet. It was a decent sized bet, $2.25 bet. And there was 7 cents in the machine. So someone had run out, and this is one where you can tell like exactly how much it's going to cost you before you hit. And so I'm playing it through, and something unusual happens. It hits like a bonus, which people like me never see the bonus because we only play it for 6 or 7 spins at the most. So we never really get to see the bonus, and it paid very well. Bonus paid like $170, and then I finished out the play and found another play on that machine and finished that one out. And between all that stuff that happened for that machine put me ahead for the session, $63. Now I'm thinking back, okay, I lost 69 on the first machine. I could have been up 5 1/4 if I hadn't made that mistake. And that haunts you, it really does. That's worse than making a bad decision on a blackjack table, because generally I'm not betting $500 a hand on a blackjack table, and it comes out to a $500 mistake almost. So it doesn't feel good at all, but we got through it and ended up leaving ahead for the session, $63. But yeah, that's a painful one, because that's a self-inflicted error. I didn't need to do that. So live and learn, and I'll do better next time. And just jump to conclusion. So anyway, it is darn cold outside. 19 degrees outside right now, and I'm moving on to, well, I'm probably going to head home at this point. Otherwise, I'm going to miss work. So let me start heading toward home, and I'll be back to update you. All right, guys, I am back. So as the sun is going to start coming up here pretty soon, what did you eat today, MW? And that's going to be a big one here. So what did I eat today? I had a ham sandwich. I had these little sandwiches my wife made for the party that we had today. Some vegetables, some chili that she made. It was all delicious. And then that terrible burrito from Taco Bell. All the stuff from earlier today, all delicious, all wonderful. She was worried about the chili because one of the ingredients was off a little bit, but I found it really good. And then as far as the Taco Bell, I'd give that a 5 on a scale of 2 through ace. And yeah, it was just out. Now I know why I don't eat a Taco Bell. And then what did you tip today, MW? And as you know, most of what I did today was slots. I had no jackpots, so I tipped 0 there. And then I did play at one table with a very nice dealer who was pulling for me, and so I tipped her $0. So $0 in tips today, and yeah, whatever, we made, what, 760, 800, whatever today, so not terrible. Tomorrow, or today, is going to be Monday morning. Going to have lots of work to do. I have been off work for about a week, so I got a lot of catching up to do. I'll be in the office most of the day. I'll probably leave for lunch to get one session in, and then other than that, we'll probably spend the rest of the day at the office. So expect tomorrow the Monday and Tuesday episodes to be combined, released Tuesday night, and then there will be possibly a Wednesday episode. If not, it'll be rolled into Thursday, because I need to be in the office Wednesday now, and then we'll have a Friday episode. So we'll see how things go. Working on a lot of things in the background, and working on making money in other ways, and hopefully that stuff works out, and I can give you some numbers about that stuff. And yeah, that's really what's going on as I continue my trip home. If you have any questions or comments, my email is mwusa21@gmail.com, mwusa21@gmail.com. See you next time.